This tutorial is on Maple, basic fundamentals of Maple, which is the computational software we will be using in this course. So first, let's open up Maple by double-clicking Maple 16. What we will get is a initial dialog box, which is a tip box, meaning it just gives you a tip every time you open up Maple. We'll X out of that. We will also X out of Quick Help. Okay. So first thing is to let's just jump directly into working through some examples. That's the best way to learn Maple. So first, let's enter in some text. Let's say example, right? So I'm entering in something that does not need to be computed, meaning the word example does not need to be computed. So I would select text before entering in or typing in example. Now let's say that I want to actually compute something, so I would select math, and I would type in, let's say, 3 plus 15. Okay, and click enter, and our output would be displayed here. Okay, so our output is 18, and this is how Maple would display the output of 3 plus 18. If you wanted the 18 to appear right next to the 3 plus 15, we would basically click Control and equal sign, and the 18 would be displayed right next to 3 plus 18. Okay, let's take a look at another example. So we want to type in the word example, so we would select text, and then we would click enter. Now we want to enter something that's computable, so we select math, and let's say we want to compute 56 factorial, right? So we would type in 56 and factorial and click enter, and this is our output. Okay. Now if you wanted to suppress the output, meaning you did not want Maple to compute 56 factorial until later on, you would just type in colon and click enter, and Maple would basically it would not display the answer. So the colon, if you remove the colon, we get the output. If we introduce the colon, we do not get the output. Okay. Now let's take a look at another example. We want to type in the word example. So we select text, and then we want to enter something that we want to compute, right? So let's say that we want to compute the following difference: 5 divided by 1267. It's important to note that Maple is in 2D, so basically 5 divided by 126, 5 divided by 1267 appears as you would write it in your notebook, right? So 5 divided by 1267 minus 1 over 32. Okay, and we want Maple to compute this particular difference, and the output would be a fraction. Okay, now if we want the output to be an actual decimal, you would basically type in the function evalf. Right? So that's important to note. We want evalf to be right next to our difference in this way, and put the difference actually in parentheses, right? So this is how this function in Maple works. Okay, and what this function does is basically gives you the output in decimal form. Now if you wanted to round the decimal form to the closest integer, let's say, then just remove evalf and type in round and click enter, and it will round to the closest integer, right? Let's take a look at another example, right? So if you want to toggle back and forth from text to math, you can use F5. So let's click on F5, go to text, and let's type in, let's say, pi. So capital Pi will give us the number pi, which is irrational. And notice that I'm in text, so the output is not generated. But if you want pi to be if you want to basically introduce pi in some sort of a computation, you would need to select math and then type in pi. And we would have our, oh, sorry. So let's take a look at capital PI. And what is the problem here? Let me remove this. Okay, so let's say we select math, capital P, oh, capital PI, right? And we get the following output. Suppose that we want to approximate this irrational number pi to a certain number of digits. We can control the number of digits by using the following function, EVALF, right? Notice that I'm in text. So this is not good for us. We want to be in math mode. So we would select math, EVALF. And notice the letters are italic. That's the key feature for math inputs. So EVALF parentheses, right? Now this is a bit tricky, so let's do this carefully. So after parentheses, we want to insert, we select insert a label. What we are trying to do here is basically tell the function that you want to, meaning tell EVALF that you want to approximate pi, which is label 1, right? And how did I know it's label 1? Because the output is here, right? And this output is 1, right? So we would put parentheses, 1, close parentheses, and click OK. The 1 would appear. So basically what we're trying to approximate is this label, meaning this output here, comma. Now we want to approximate it to, let's say, 5 digits. Close parentheses. So this is 5 significant digits, and we click enter, and Maple will approximate it to 5 significant digits. Now if you want to approximate it to more, let's say 25, Maple can do that for us also. We can approximate it to 100 if we wanted. We can approximate it to 500 if we wanted. So notice how powerful Maple is. Your calculator is restricted to a certain number of digits, whereas Maple is not restricted to a low number of digits. So accuracy can be improved using Maple instead of a calculator. Okay. Now, it's important for you to keep in mind that there's more than one way to have Maple do the computation for you. I am teaching you, or in this tutorial, I am teaching you ways that I do, how I use Maple, but you can, as time goes on, you will learn how to use Maple in different ways. The goal is for you to basically be able to compute using Maple, right? And there's multiple ways of reaching the answer, so you don't necessarily have to adopt my way of using Maple. You can learn yourself how to use Maple. Now you can use, let's say, EXP. So let's say we're entering text, right? We're entering math. So EXP, meaning the exponential function, parentheses, let's say 256, oh no, let's say 125, close parentheses, and that's our output. So notice that Maple, in order for you to compute e raised to 125, you need to type in exp parentheses 125. But even then, Maple does not end up computing what we are asking it to compute. So what you need to do is basically use the eval_f function. So so let's say we're entering math, so eval_f parentheses insert. So I'm doing another problem of this type because this is important. So we click label. Now notice that we are trying to compute the third output, so we would type in parentheses 3, close parentheses, and click OK. Now we want to approximate it to, let's say, 10 digit, or let's say 11 digits, close parentheses, click enter, right? And what we end up getting is a decimal output as we did here. Okay, so there are specific types of tricks in computing with Maple, right? And only experience will give you that ability. So the idea is that you want to use these tutorials I create for you to get a feel for how Maple works and use my experience as a way to improve your game. Um, but otherwise, you can also use the help option that comes with Maple. So if you select Maple help, right? So you have all of these things at your disposal. You can use Maple help. You can take quick tour of Maple. There are tutorials available that you can also refer to, manuals here, right? So make sure you keep in mind that Maple has a very good help component, and that's what you want to use to learn how to use Maple. You want to get in the habit of using this help menu and using online resources to improve your game in using Maple. Okay. So let's take a look at another example. We want to enter text, so we click F5, toggle back to text. This is our final example here. And now we want to enter math, so we select math, and we want to, let's say, multiply 2 times x minus 5, close parentheses, open parentheses, 3 times x plus 5, close parentheses, raised to the second power, right? And you can raise by using the caret corresponding to the number 6, right, in your laptop. So now we click enter. Notice that Maple has trouble expanding this, right? The reason is because Maple has a built-in function that you need to use. So first we go back to our problem and type in expand, and obviously this is a Maple function, so we put in parentheses whatever we're trying to expand, and we click enter, and notice that it still has trouble trying to expand. Okay, but the problem here is that Maple needs to be told that we are multiplying 2 times x minus 5 times 3x plus 5 squared, right? And we haven't done that because I did not type in the multiplication sign here, right? So we type in the multiplication sign, right? And we do that by selecting the star that corresponds to the number 8, right, in your keyboard, in your laptop keyboard, and we click and enter. So by simultaneously using expand and the multiplication, meaning the star, every time you multiply, it will instruct Maple to actually expand this particular polynomial. Now, um, the reason Maple becomes very useful is because it does computation for you, right? It does heavy computation for you. You don't need to do all of this algebra, right? You can actually have Maple do it for you and use the actual output. But it's important for you to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you will not know whether the output is correct or not. Okay, so Maple is a tool that you wanna use to help you increase your efficiency, but it cannot be used to it shouldn't be a substitute for understanding something. Okay, um, so it's important for you to keep in mind that I'll be creating these tutorials that you can use to help you learn how to use Maple, right? But you can also use the help menu and online resources. Okay, so this is the end of the first tutorial. Okay, and there will be I will create more for you as the semester goes on. right? And also once I get a feel for where people are struggling, I will try to create tutorials that address your deficiencies that were displayed in class, so that you can improve your game. Okay.